All right, guys. So there is news on the recruiting trail out of Flower Mound, Texas. Ashton Cozart, who was an Oklahoma wide receiver commit, joins the Oregon Ducks. Decommits from Oklahoma, and he's now going to be going to the University of Oregon. He's 6'2". He runs track. He's pretty fast, and he's kind of like, for me, he's like a Will Fuller type of guy that he could stretch the field. He has late hands, so he can catch the football over the shoulder. Jerion Dickey, another guy that Oregon has, is more of like that physicality, like jump ball kind of receiver. Ashton is a little bit more thin, but he's wiry, he's athletic, and his strength is catching the deep ball. So, you want to see some more route versatility, and I believe that Dillingham could get that out of him. So I believe he's a solid player. It's obviously going to be really tough for him to crack the top two, where you have Jerion, you even have guys that, Kyler Casper's going to be in year two. But going forward, there's even guys that are on the roster that are sophomores that could be around for senior year that can factor in as juniors next year when Ashton is a freshman. So Ashton's really, really good. Ashton's going to be a fine player, going to be a good player. We'll see if his ceiling's even higher, because I see him on this roster as being like a deep threat, use him in the slot. If he's a starting X, then that's tremendous for the University of Oregon. They also have a tremendous quarterback at his high school that's a sophomore. So the continuity with Oregon trying to get in, I'm not just saying they're recruiting Ashton because there's a quarterback there, but I'm saying it is interesting in this process that he was committed to Oklahoma and then he goes to the University of Oregon, and it seems pretty rapidly he made that decision. So, that gets you wondering. He wanted to be on the West Coast the entire time, gets you wondering about, people are going to, I just think just the natural, what you naturally think is that Oregon really had a priority on Ashton Cozart. And there's an ability with, when you see flips and things, I'm not going to be the first one to mention this, all right? But what goes through your head if you're an Oklahoma fan is, oh boy, Oregon joined the party. Oregon might have offered, more in terms of financial stuff for Ashton Cozart. I'm not saying that's the case. I think that my respect for Junior Adams is off the charts. Dan Lanning, if I was a kid, again, Oregon is my team. Oregon's coaching staff, I love Oregon football. So Oregon has dynamic playmakers. I think that maybe he wants to go to a pro-style offense. He wants to go closer to home because he's not from the state of Texas originally. So that could be a case, too, with Ashton Cozart. And listen, and he did this with a year to spare, and I respect him wholeheartedly for going to the University of Oregon. It was an interesting decommit. It's a little bit of some adversity for Oklahoma. I think that Ashton, his strengths are, he's decently fast. He's good at catching the deep ball. He's a guy that, I think he could be more physical. I think he can also, work on cutting and work on route running development. Maybe that's what Junior Adams sees as well. Very tall receivers at Oregon, though. They're building almost a basketball team. You have Kyler Casper, who's 6'5". You have Jerion Dickey, who's 6'2" and growing. And then this kid, Ashton Cozart, is 6'2.5". So you're going to have tall targets at the University of Oregon. You're going to try to add some running game. Justice Lowe is a big-time player. Oregon's then going to rely on guys in the slot. They're going to add speed to their roster. Little guys with speed. Kind of your Percy Harvin types, your Kadarius Tonys that are really athletic guys that are just, unguardable in short areas, quickness and space, okay? Try to add guys that are a little smaller, that play in the slot, that are hybrid running back, wide receiver types, just like Justice Lowe is, all right? I'm not saying Tyreek Hill, but try to get guys that are, for the college version, like a Tyreek Hill, that are really fast and smaller, so you have different targets, okay, to throw the ball to. Again, there's a big-time quarterback there. He's a 4-star guy right at Cozart School. I'm sure that Oklahoma and Oregon are going to be interested. That's how these schools think. They think down the line. All right, so there's a lot that goes into it, and I want Cozart to go ahead and be great. I think Dillingham and these guys are really excited. He does flash great production and potential, playmaking ability. So, again, I think that he has moderate speed. I think that his cutting ability can improve physicality. There are parts of his games that he can improve, but he's going to be a guy that, listen, like that wide receiver room is stacked, all right, because I view Jerry on really highly. Kyler Casper could possibly be a first-rounder. I view Jerry on as a first-round ability, okay? And I view this guy as like a top end. I view this, if he's a 3 on your team, he's pretty damn good. And we'll see how he competes with these other guys, all right? So that's Ashton Cozart. He's going to be committing to Oregon. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. I cover Oklahoma and Oregon recruiting. So this was a kid that was committed to the University of Oklahoma, and now he's going to Oregon. So this is still a time in the year where kids decommit all the time. And it's not like he pulled this on Venables right at signing day. So Oklahoma has plenty of time to move on and find wide receivers, especially in the state to the south, in Texas. They could find really good wide receivers like Cozart. All right, so congrats to Ashton again. Wish him all the best at Oregon. Pumped for Oregon fans and for Oklahoma fans. Again, yeah, you might have been attached to the commit. But again, there's still time in this process. All right, so that's the big news out there in the recruiting world. Ashton Cozart, Texas wide receiver from the Dallas area, is now an Oregon Duck commit, as he was previously committed to go to Norman. He's now going to go to the Oregon Ducks and Dan Lanning and Junior Adams out in Eugene.